What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? That was a 10 out of 10 on the clap. Today we have another Shadow Systems pistol. If my camera would focus, it is the MR920. It is Shadow Systems version of the Glock 19. I believe this is the fourth Shadow Systems pistol I've reviewed, and I like it. They're pretty nice. All right, let's get right into it. And no notes. There's no notes here. I'm doing this off the top of my head. Let's see how this goes and how many dumb dad jokes I give. Magazines. It comes with Magpul magazines, but it does take Glock magazines. It comes with either a 15 or a 10 round magazine. And again, any of the Glock magazines will work in there. The 17, the 33, etc. 9mm. The Magpul mags are plastic. There's no steel liner in the inside like a Glock mag, but I've had pretty good luck with them. One of the things I like the most in the Shadow Systems pistol is going to be the grip. I love the grip texture. I love that they bring the grip texture up above the magazine release. I don't know why that's a pet peeve of mine, but it is. The texture is just aggressive enough without being too aggressive. I think the texture is absolutely perfect. The grip angle is a little bit better than a Glock, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of that Glock hump. And of course, they do give you a couple different size back straps, so you can customize it for your mitts, for your size hands. And yeah, another thing that's nice is the trigger guard has an undercut. I don't get Glock knuckle when I shoot a Shadow Systems compared to a Glock. I shoot any Glock 100 rounds or so, I get that little blister on my middle finger. It doesn't matter the caliber, the model, I get it every time. With this gun, I do not get it. I don't know if it's the undercut or the grip angle, whatever. I don't care why. It's just nice that I don't get it. Magazine release is fine. No issues, no problems. Very similar shape to a Glock. It's a little different textured. Does drop the magazines freely, but yeah, the magazine release seems pretty good. The trigger. Now, the trigger is a little bit better than a Glock. It's not, don't expect a 2011 customized Nighthawk trigger, but for a striker-fired polymer gun, it has a solid trigger. It's a little bit lighter than a Glock. It does have the safety built into it. It kind of has it's kind of a flat trigger with the curve. It has a little bit of take-up. Comes to a decent wall, pull through the wall. The reset is good. It's very tactile and audible, and I love that. I love a very tactile and audible trigger. It's just I prefer to shoot on a trigger that way. So as always, we are going to take a 10-second break so you can get up close and personal with the trigger. You can see it, smell it, touch it, taste it, and I will be right back. What did you think of the trigger? Like I said, respectable for a striker-fired polymer gun. It has some speed ledges on both sides, so it gives your thumb a little place to rest, or your trigger finger, and it's on both sides for you lefties, righties. It has that same texture as the grip, and I really like having that place for my thumb to rest. A lot of the guns I shoot have that, and I've become accustomed to it. Before we get into the super duper rail, it's a pretty standard rail actually, I just want to quickly thank the sponsor of the video. It is the Elite Indoor Gun Range. This gun came from them, was loaned to me by my friends at the Elite Indoor Gun Range. If you're anywhere near Rhode Island, Southern Rhode Island is where the Elite Indoor Range is located. They have awesome sporting clays course. They have an indoor range. They have training classes, a country club. It's a beautiful, beautiful facility. If you're anywhere in the area, go check them out, especially the sporting clays. The sporting clays is a lot of fun. I suck at it, but it's still a lot of fun. The rail. It's a standard rail. No issues, no problems. I've tried Streamlight, Surefire, Olight, Enforce, all the major light brands on there, and they all work no problem. It's a single cutout like a Glock, and yeah, no issues with it. Slide release is only on the left side of the gun, so you left-handed people are bumming. With that said, I do find it very easy to drop the slide. If you're like me and you want to use it as a slide release, you can easily do so. I very rarely ride, actually I don't think I've ever rode a slide release on any Shadow Systems before, so it's in a good spot for me, in my hands, where I don't ride it and I don't have any problems. But again, it's not an ambi slide release. Lefties, so sad. Alright, let's get to the top half of the gun. Let's get into the slide. There's a lot going on here with the slide. So first, the serrations are great. The serrations are very, very aggressive. They're angled forward. If you look at both the front and the rear serration, especially the front, the serrations are cut into the slide a little deeper. kind of like the Walther PDP, but there's a very, very significant ledge that you can grab onto, and it really makes racking the gun significantly easier. With this particular one, you see there's a cutout on the slide and there's serrations on the top. So there's two different versions of all of the Shadow Systems guns. There's a Combat and the Elite. The Elite is the more expensive. The Elites have the slide cuts on the side, they have the serrations on the top, and all of them come optics cut. The Combat, the optics cut is optional. There's no serrations on the top. There's no slide cuts. Both of them you can get either a threaded or unthreaded barrel. Both of them you can either get a black or this awesome, beautiful bronze barrel. I love this bronze barrel. We'll talk about that in a second. And you can get black or FDE color frames and slides with both of them as well. But that's the difference between the two of them. And again, this is one of the Elite versions. So both of them have good serrations. The Elite has very good serrations. I love the serrations on that one. And it has a type of nitrite, armorite, nitrite, whatever you want to call it, finish on the slide. And the other ones I've drawn from the holster thousands of times, and the finish on the Shadow Systems has held up really well so far. Okay, let's talk about the sights. Now, they partner with Night Vision for the sights, and that's a good thing. Night Vision makes a great set of sights. They don't offer plastic sights with any of their guns, and that is one of my big beef with Glocks. You should never offer plastic sights. These are elevated, so they're a little bit higher than a standard set of sights. The front has a green circle around it to help your eyes pick it up easier, and I shot this without an optic, unlike all of my other Shadow Systems, and I found that green circle very, very easy to pick up. It also has a tritium dot in the middle, so at night that dot will glow, and it's magical. The rear sight does have a ledge for one-handed manipulations, and again, it's steel, so it's not going to break. It also has some lines on the back to cut down glare. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but people say it is, so if you care, it is there. Optics cut. I love Shadow Systems optics cut. It's simple, but it works really well. First, most important, the optic screws right down to the slide. There's no accessory plate like in a Glock MOS. And I'll show you this in some of the other Shadow System pistols I have, because there's no optic on this particular gun. But it screws right down. And what they do is they use small little fillers, either in front of the optic or behind the optic, so it fits different optics to the gun. So it works with like 30 different optics, all of your popular, RMR Holosun footprints, Loophole Delta Point Pro, EOTech footprints. They're all on the website. You can check it out. But very, very simple filler. Still screws down to the slide. Very, very solid. I've never had issue with them, and I've used a lot of my Shadow Systems pistols to test different pistol red dots, so I'm always racking them off something, and I'm very rough when I test a pistol red dot, and that optic system is very solid, holds up very well. I've had good luck with it. Alright, the last couple things we got to do, I'm going to show you how to take this apart. It's very, very similar, not very similar to a Glock. It is exactly the same as a Glock. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure the gun's unloaded, because negligent discharges suck. Pull back just a little tiny bit on the slide, pull down on the takedown levers, pull the trigger, and the slide comes right off. If you look inside the frame, besides it being extremely dirty, it is a standard Glock frame, a lot of Glock parts in there. The reason this gun is so dirty as we take it apart, this is part of the Elite Indoor Gun Range's rental program. So they let me have access to the guns in their rental program. And that's a great, great thing, because these things get thousands of rounds used and abused, and you really get to see which guns hold up and which guns do not. And they have 4 different Shadow System guns in their rental bay, and all 4 of their guns have been held up really well. And the same thing, this is my 4th Shadow Systems gun, and all of them have held up really well. Now, there is a break-in period. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but let me tell you about it real quick. You do need to shoot these guns 1 to 200 rounds when you first get them. One of the 3 Shadow Systems I owned had a couple hiccups loading the first round for the first 100 rounds, and then it was flawless. The other 2 were flawless from the beginning. But there is a break-in period. Let's get back to the disassemble. And this is what happens when I don't have notes. I get distracted. Recoil spring is captured. It's metal. It's marvelous. Now this barrel, I love the way the barrel looks. Oh, so you got to take the thread protector off the barrel before the barrel comes out. So let me do that. Now, I love, love, love the way the barrel looks. It has this spiral fluting on here, and the bronze color. It's just, I think it's a really, really sharp looking barrel. It's match grade barrel. 1 in 10 twist, 9mm. You know, you see the Shadow Systems logo on the side, and again, this thing is filthy because it is part of the rental bay at the Elite Indoor Gun Range, and that is not a bad thing. All right, I will pull up the dimensions here for you, and the weight and the price. So the price goes between like 900-ish and 1100-ish. You can absolutely get them less than that, but that's the price range depending where you get it, and if you get the Combat or the Elite, etc., etc. So they are definitely more expensive than the Glock, but I think they have a lot of the things already done to them that a lot of folks do to a Glock. So you have the better grip, you have the better sights, you have the better optics cut, you have the better trigger, etc., etc. So a lot of the things you may want to do to your Glock is already done, and that's why it's more expensive. So on one side here we have the price and the weight of the Shadow Systems. On the other side you see the Glock dimensions and weight, Glock 19 that is. Again, I just want to show you how similar they are in size and weight. Not in price, but in size and weight, and very, very close. So, testing. This is going to be more of a first impressions video than a long-term review. Now, this gun has a ton of rounds on it. Like I said, part of the rental bay at the Elite Indoor Gun Range. I only brought this to the range one day. That's it. I put a couple hundred rounds through it. That is it. That's all I did. So when I got to the range, there was a couple bays set up with competition. So my range always has competitions on the weekend, and the competition, like the barrels and the steel and the tubes to shoot through and everything, was already set up. So I spent hours just running around the range, shooting through the tubes, shooting the steel, around the barrels, under the barrels, maybe through some of the barrels. I had a blast. It was just earlier today, same shirt, you can tell. And I ran around so much, and I had so much fun. So in the beginning, I had a light primer strike, and I had a stovepipe, and I was like, oh no, there's something wrong with this gun, and I was upset, and I was bumming, and I was going to bring it back to the Elite Indoor Gun Range. Then I broke out the other 3 guns, Glock patent guns, that I brought to the range. I had a PSA dagger with me, I had my customized Glock 17, and I had the Shadow Systems DR920, and with all 4 guns, I was having light primer strikes, light primer strikes, light primer strikes over and over and over and over, and it was very, very frustrating. So I don't blame the gun, I blame the ammo. That Fiocchi ammo, I must have had a few bad boxes of ammo. But even though I blame it on the ammo, I like to be upfront and honest with you and make sure you know. So anyway, a couple hundred rounds, a couple problems in the beginning, and then the rest of the day was very, very smooth. No issues, no problems. I had a lot of fun. All right, pros. Like I said, Shadow Systems gets they do the upgrades, they trick out the gun the way most of us want Glock to trick out their guns. Again, I don't love the Glock hump. You have different back straps with Shadow Systems to deal with that, whether you want bigger or smaller. You have a good trigger undercut. You have a slightly better trigger. The grip texture is significantly better. The speed ledges I love. The serrations are better. The optics cut better. The sights are way better. The aesthetics, not even close. That's just my opinion, but you may differ, but I think the aesthetics are significantly better. Cons, I don't really have a con of Shadow Systems. You're going to be okay spending more money. They are significantly more money than a Glock. Again, the way I look at it is the upgrade's already done, so it kind of balances out, but they are more expensive than a Glock. You have to be okay with that, and if you are, I think they're great guns. I carry a CR920P very, very often, and I wouldn't trust my life to it if I didn't think it was a good gun. All right. That's all I got for you. Hopefully I didn't miss anything major by not having any notes. Very, very likely that I did. I went easy on the dad jokes and bad on the rambling. I can't help it. I like to ramble. Let me thank the Elite Indoor Gun Range. Their support over the years has been just tremendous, and they've been the biggest and most consistent supporter of the channel since day one. So thank you to the Elite Indoor Gun Range. I will put some affiliate links down in the video description if you want to pick up anything from Shadow Systems like an MR920. Check those links. Greatly appreciate it. Helps the channel going, and hopefully I can find you a good deal. I send out some emails now. The website to sign up is TiberiousGib.com. I won't spam you. 1 or 2 emails per month. YouTube stopped notifying people when I come out with new videos, so I started sending out those emails. 1 or 2 per month. I won't spam you, I promise. Sign up. I appreciate it. Most important, thank you guys for watching. If you think I deserve it, do me the favor, like, comment, subscribe, enable the bell notifications. If you do the subscription, especially in the bell notification, Santa's gonna take your Glock and leave you a Shadow Systems this Christmas because they're better guns. I'll see you next time. Peace.